My name's Rich Hayden. I own Virtual Reality Racing Club. We're here at Goodwood Festival of Speed. I'm here with Purple Sector Performance, which is a race driver training, all levels, club championship, all the way up to Le Mans level. What we do is we help them out with race simulation and driver coaching, and we do that using our SimRace Pro simulators, which you see behind me. They're really high-level simulation, and we use virtual reality to make sure that the immersion for the driver is as best as it could be, and giving them the accuracy to be able to follow the right lines and be as accurate with their driving style as they can be. One of the things we use with that is the HTC Vive Pro headset with a real high resolution. It's fantastic for driver training. It's the only way to drive a racing simulator. The average speed improvement or time improvement for a pro driver going from screens to VR is minimum is 1 second a lap, and the average is anywhere between 1.5 and 2 seconds per lap.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 6th round of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and HeatingShop.ie. Alex Goldschmidt and Martin Jones, your guides once again here at this fantastic Norfolk circuit, which originally was based as RAF Snetterton Heath, later used by the US Army Air Force. And Martin, a track that is steeped in motorsport folklore. It was first used back in 1953 as part of this through the Snetterton Combine for motorcycle racing, but it has now evolved into what we see now. We're racing the Snetterton 300 circuit with the current lap record held by Brazil's very own Felipe Nasr.
Yes, I wasn't there in 1953, I have to say, but it's a super circuit again. Love again what MSV. I'm not after anything, Jonathan. It's just very impressed with what you've done. Great circuit, very fast still. The inner section was built to get its FIA Grade 2 license, so it's allowed to run FIA events. This should be another great one. A lot of overtaking, a lot of barging bits, and I think the chaps haven't disappointed us, have they, Alex?
Not so far, because 80% of the 10 races we've had so far has been actually taken by different drivers. But as you can see on your screens, we are now at round 6 of the 10-round championships. And next week on the 4th of August, we head to Sepang in Malaysia, then Shanghai in China, Bathurst, aka Mount Panorama, on the 18th of August. And then our final round will be Circuit of the Americas. And as you can see in the middle, the top 5 prizes. So the champion will get a set of OBP Esports pedals. The runner-up will get a SimLab P1X chassis, a Fanatec SQ shifter for our 3rd place driver in the championship standings. Fourth will get a Thurstmaster T-LCM, and fifth will get a 100 Ebuyer voucher, £100 Ebuyer voucher. And of course, the biggest thing is the success ballast, because there has been a change for the first time in quite probably the last 2 to 3 weeks. That now Dave Marshall is not in the lead of the standings, but he has also now got less ballast than he has had for the last few races. So Senna Proctor comes into this leading the standings. And as you can see, there's also going to be a 20-minute qualifying session. We're going to have a first race and then a second race. As you can see from Brands Hatch Grand Prix, Max Coates did a repeat of what Senna Proctor did back at Barcelona. He took pole position. He took both race victories and also the fastest laps in both races. Obviously, we had Max Bird, who has now joined the championship as of last round. Max, who was part of the Mini Challenge UK eSeries, as the Mini Challenge UK actually joins Toka this weekend at the opening round of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. And of course, Chris Smiley and Senna Proctor will be in action with Accelerate Motorsport in their pair of i30s. But here, Senna Proctor leads the standings, and it is on 330 points. There's a slight amendment because there was a protest put in post round 6, and now Jack McIntyre is second by just 3 points on 327. Then it's Dave Marshall, Alex Toth-Jones, Isaac Smith, Mikko Salminen, Rob Butler, Kenny Press, Rich Hayden, and Chris Smiley round out the top 10, and all of them will have ballast, but Chris Smiley will be the lightest of the top 10. Max Coates was apparently not going to be here this evening, but he's made it, so good to have him. He's currently sitting in 14th at the moment, but we have 2 new drivers joining us, Jordan Brennan and also Scott Thorne. Obviously, we were going to have Konstantin Kletzer in the number 43 Volkswagen Golf TCE with us this evening, but Konstantin can't make it. So hopefully we will have our friend from Austria back in the not too distant future. And then we will get underway with qualifying very, very shortly here in Norfolk. So it is now underway with qualifying here. Air temperature, a virtual 15 degrees Celsius, track temperature 17 degrees. And this is a very, very iconic track. You've got corners such as Brundle, the Bomb Hole, Coram, Murray's, Hamilton, Agostini. You've got the Bentley Straight, amongst other corners. But it's a real test for all the drivers here, isn't it, Martin? Because on the inner sector, where you've got Palmer, Agostini, you've then got Hamilton and Oggies. Those are 4 corners that really can't be taken lightly at all. You've got to really have full commitment for it.
Yeah, absolute commitment. It does amuse me that they built so many corners to get all the names in. But well done. I hope that's not a precedent.
No, I mean, the good thing is, at least with some of the tracks that we've been to so far, there have been quite a few corner names. There's Alex Toth-Jones, currently 4th in the standings, and he currently has 299 points to his credit in the number 11. It wasn't an easy test. Well, it was a difficult test. He scored only 41 points last time out at Brands Hatch. As we see Rich Hayden coming into shot. And then you can also see Chris Smiley, and followed by Senna Proctor. So these 3 are the part of the MSL Motorsport Consultancy trio of high-end i30s. And I'm not too sure. I spotted in the background that might have been either Max Bird or Max Coates possibly. But already Rich Hayden is putting the initial benchmark down of a 2 minutes 8.640. Alex Toth-Jones in second ahead of Chris Smiley and Senna Proctor. There's Kobe Leakins in the one of the 2 Alfa Romeo Giuliettas, as we will also should have James West, aka Gamer Muscle. He has done a really good job, and he's came good at Barcelona with taking a 2nd place finish in the 2nd race at Barcelona itself, which was a couple of weeks ago. But in many respects, Martin, we came on about the commitment, but then it's also about who's the bravest of the brave, trying to get through these corners very, very quickly. But also, you've got to be keeping it smooth here around Snetterton on a qualifying lap.
Yeah, the tyre degradation is quite quite harsh here if you do overcook it. A lot of these corners, you've got Murray's coming out onto the centre straight into Ritchie's. Montreal is a tricky one. The middle bit, forget it. You've just got to line yourself up through Oggies into Williams onto the Bentley straight, and then you're braking into Brundle to make a move. Nelson is a tricky one coming out of the bomb hole into Coram. Coram caused havoc in the Porsche sprint race. Somebody dumped the contents of their coolant over the circuit, and we were faced with the MSL car right in the firing line, and I must admit I was talking to Nick Dudfield and going, this is going to be a big bill, and thankfully Alex got it out the way, so we had a little bill.
Yes, I think with the Porsche 718s, they do have the radiators on the front of the vehicle, but the engine's always mounted in the back. There is Jordan Brennan, one of two drivers, along with Scott Thorne. They will be running with 60 kilos of ballast in this particular encounter, and no ballast will change. They'll be dependent on the championship standings after this round here at Snetterton. Before we head to Sepang on the 4th of August, as Senna Proctor has got Max Bird just behind, and Proctor currently is down in 13th position, whereas Max Bird is 4th. At the moment, Luke Whitehead in the 21 LWR Hyundai i30 is quickest of anybody, a 1 minute 53.497.
Oh, that's messy. That's messy. Dear. Oh.
Well, I think Max Bird definitely got, if he's a cat with 9 lives, he's just lost one, and he's still got 8 to go after that particular encounter. But I must be honest, Senna keeping that very, very much out of the way of Max Bird, but he went a bit too hot there, didn't he?
Well, it is an overtaking place, but not like that.
No, not especially when it's a front-wheel drive Hyundai going literally 90 degrees to the left as Alex Toth-Jones pulls into the pits.
This is going to be interesting again with the brakes later in the race, tyre degradation. It is some of these heavyweight cars are not going to like this. So good for the championship, good for us, good for everybody watching at home.
Yeah, but obviously with the drivers that nearly have the family with them, effectively in terms of the weight ballast, it's not been easy. Here's Dave Marshall, currently now 3rd in the standings on 326 points.
That was a great line through there. Absolutely nailed it.
Yep, and he's currently running P7, so he's now come out of Murray's, having gone through into Coram, and that was, it's a pretty demanding right-hand sweeper at Coram because you're going through the bomb hole, and everyone normally, when we've seen it in touring car action before on TV, that everyone tries to make a lunge going through up into the inside of Brundles and try and get the switch back through into Nelson. And if everything goes well, you get through the bomb hole quite nice and clean. But then we've seen it before where people have gone a bit too brazen into Brundle, they've misjudged it at Nelson, and all of a sudden it's all kicked off at the bomb hole. And it looks like there's been a touring car explosion with multiple cars going in opposite directions. But hopefully these drivers will keep things a little bit cleaner. We've got 12 and a half minutes still to go, and the top 20 separated by 3.88 seconds. Alex Toth-Jones has yet to put in a significantly better hot lap because he's only done a 2 minute 10.875. But I think what the number 11 is trying to do here, Martin, is just to see how the track evolves and then decide, right, I've got about 6 minutes to go, I'm going to give it an opportunity and see what happens and roll the dice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's only in your quickest lap, and that's normally during the end that you qualify well. I just think it's interesting that the circuit, this will evolve. They've put quite a chilly temperature on it, so I don't know what's that. I think look at the guys, we've not seen this before with them. A lot of them popping into the pits to do setting changes. Something's going on that I think I can only surmise is that.
Yeah, I think you might be right there, because if they're not getting enough tyre temperature, or if the tyres are sort of scrubbing quite significantly depending on how they're approaching. I mean, straight away from seeing Senna Proctor going sideways there a bit earlier on in the session, I think he pretty much flat spotted all 4 tyres in one fell swoop, and the first thing you want to do is put a new set of tyres on it. There's Josh Stanton, currently sitting down in 23rd position in the standings. He's running 17th at the moment, and he's making that 16th, and he's 2.5 seconds behind. So we're seeing the likes of Whitehead, we're seeing Brennan, obviously even running the 60 kilos, Martin. He's only 7.5 tenths off provisional pole in this race as we're fast approaching the halfway point of the session. But we've seen it before where, you know, Max Bird has come on strong during the second half of qualifying. We've seen it from Senna Proctor, we've seen it from Chris Smiley, multiple drivers that have secured pole positions in that sort of respect. But it is about who wants it the most, really, and they want to add another 6 points to their tally.
Yeah, it's again, I think this is the first time I've seen them actually having to work out what to do, and I kind of like that.
It's always nice when the drivers have a bit more of a test, so to speak, because if you don't test the drivers, then it's not going to make the championship exciting. And when we've had temperatures in excess of 20 plus degrees, not just air temperature but track temperature, this is a completely different proposition to what we had last time out at Brands Hatch. We were running anywhere between 22 to 24 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, it adds another dimension of reality to it, because you've got to work it out. And okay, sometimes I don't like my drivers thinking too much, but that's it's part of the talent, part of the skill set.
So we are with Jack McIntyre, who is currently 9th on the road at the moment, as John Cole has pitted. Well, it's actually showing that Jack McIntyre is on the timing, according to my side of things, he's in 10th place, and he's done a best effort of a 1 minute 55.175. John Cole, Max Bird, and also Rob Butler are currently in the pits, as I've just seen that Max Coates has just ended up on the timing screens. So we'll see what the 71 has from Elite Motorsport. He'll be in competition in the Mini Challenge UK for real this coming weekend. And of course, he won the Mini Challenge UK E-Series Real Life Driver Championship earlier on this year. So he's... Max is a very, very good paddler, isn't he, Martin? And I'm looking forward to seeing how he can, again, sort of throw the cat amongst the pigeons here at Snetterton, because it's a track he knows very, very well indeed.
I think he must have stopped for something to eat coming back from Brands, and he's doing a very cool qualifying here. Just hop in with 8 minutes to go, and let's see what we can do. Right,
I've just noticed that that was John Cole that's just having to reverse back off of the barriers.
Oops.
So they're going through these three, which is being led by, looks to be Rob Butler, and that was through Agostini's, and then through into the left at Hamilton's. That is Rob Butler.
Yeah, you're seeing the weaving here. This is they are struggling with getting temperature into the tyres for a quick lap.
Mm-hmm. And we've got 7 3/4 minutes left on this to go, and you can just see how hard Rob Butler is actually pushing the front end, so the back end actually steps out. And so effectively by doing this sort of side-to-side toing and throwing motion, they're sort of rotating the car a little bit, but by scrubbing the tyres, they're actually helping to generate heat into them, but also as a result of putting heat into the tyres, you put heat into the brakes as a direct result.
And you get the chemical reaction which is required to get you ultimate grip by introducing the heat. Here we go. This is where you want to be really on it, coming into he's moved. The picture changed from what I was going to say, but certainly he was lining up to get a quick exit from Murray's to get onto the centre straight, and here we go. This is the business lap, I think, for him. That's a great launch into Richie's there.
Yeah, and nicely run wide as much as he dared, heading into Montreal. And this is a tight hairpin before coming out of the corner. And then you have the left sweeper at Palmer. before the short blast down to Agostini. So we'll just keep on board with Rob Butler at the moment. And that's nice placement through on the apex. Runs a little bit wide coming out of Palmer's on the run down to Agostini. And one of the biggest things is Max Coates on his first lap goes 7/10 off of Luke Whitehead with 6 minutes to go. That's that's kind of what we saw at Brands Hatch, and now we're seeing that here at Snetterton as Mikko Raskinen goes up into P12, now into Hamilton. You can just see how much Rob Butler's trying to work in conjunction with, so man and machine trying to work together
Right.
into
Here we go.
Oggies.
Oggies, and then watch him on Williams. If he's on it, this is such an important corner to get a good lap here. Yeah, that's tidy.
Yeah, so now down the Bentley Straight, heading to the left at Brundle, and then the right at Nelson's before they go through the bomb hole. So there's another 4 corners to go. So under the bridge, braking down into Brundle. Nicely done there.
Nicely done.
Yeah, and really just keeping it as close to the bollards as possible through Nelson into bomb hole. And this is where the little dip can sometimes catch the drivers out, as it has done in years past, but then through the right sweeper at Corm, he's kept that really, really nice and neat and tidy. Rob Butler at the moment is currently 1.3 seconds off, as he's now going to go through the left at Murray's. That's nicely executed there. Runs a little bit wide onto the exit curbing, puts the power down, up another gear. See if he improves.
It was a tidy lap. He'll probably be position 13 or something. But,
Well, he's gone at P6 ahead of Chris Smiley, so by 30 thousandths of a second.
It looked very tidy. I thought we were going to give him the commentator's curse there, but very tidy lap.
Well,
look at Max Coates. He's showboating. He just rocks up.
I think, as the Americans would say at the Raw before the 24, he's sandbagging quite clearly. I think, because he's got no ballast and he can just afford to go, front row will be fine.
I'll just finish my McDonald's and I'll get in the sim.
Just finish off my milkshake.
Absolutely.
So there's Paul Laramie. And where is Paul at the moment? Currently P22. As Alex Toth-Jones has improved to 1 minute 55.908, so looks like Alex is struggling a little bit with the ballast, which is around 120 kilos on the Hyundai. But with these colder temperatures, this is really, really putting more onus on the driver to get the heat into the tyres and into the brakes quite substantially. And you're seeing that some drivers, like, say, Rob Butler, Dave Marshall rounding out the top 10 at the moment, Jack McIntyre in 11th place. These guys are again struggling, but it is a very different circuit to what we had back at Brands Hatch just a week ago, wouldn't you say, Martin?
Yeah, absolutely. I do like the way that the likes of Rob Butler's got on with it. That's a heavy old car, and it's still not wanting to go around the corners. It's still pushing him on massive understeer. But here we go. This should be their last attempt. I think 3 minutes to go.
Yep, Alex Toth-Jones has just jumped up into P12 on a 1 minute 59.159, and he's actually 3/1000 slower than the man on your screens at home, Isaac Smith, in the 123 Hyundai i30N. That was a good lap from Alex there, but Luke Whitehead has not really been challenged by anybody apart from the likes of Max Coates, Jordan Brennan, and also Max Bird. And let's not forget, Andy Mellors looks to be having his best session of the season so far. He's P5 ahead of Rob Butler in P6. Chris Smiley, Andy Carroll, Corby Leakins, and Dave Marshall round out the top 10. Looks like Harry Omerod in the 77 Hyundai's got up into P16 with a 1 minute 55.285. And now we get to the business end of the session here, Martin, that if the drivers get out now, they're going to have the opportunity to try and get a lap in before the checkered flag really ends their session for good.
Yeah, the only thing that messes it up is if you've misjudged it, because there's a lot of cars out in the circuit now, and you do get blocked. So that's always a risk if you leave it for lastminute.com, so to speak. Other services are available, but the big lock up there. He is trying. Didn't see. Yeah, he's got through.
Yep, as Jack McIntyre now goes up into P9, nearly 1.4 seconds off of Luke Whitehead, is Chris Smiley making his way through into Murray's and around the final corner. He's P7 at the moment. As let's see if he improves and goes faster as Dave Marshall goes P8 on that attempt. So Smiley looks to have not improved as we've got only less than 90 seconds on the clock remaining. Jordan Brennan pits from P3, Andy Mellors still in the pits for P5, and Rob Butler P6 as Senna Proctor goes up into 18th, just under 2 seconds off of the blistering pace by Luke Whitehead. Then when you consider that Luke Whitehead is one of the top 3 drivers in the standings that does not have any success ballast. So I'm wondering if we're going to see some last-ditch attempts, as we normally do in qualifying in any racing series across the globe.
Yeah, it just depends on if they've cooked their tyres on that last lap, and this is probably not going to change much.
Looks like a few drivers are starting to come into the pits. I think that was Harry Almirod. Max Bird has decided to pit with 35 seconds on the clock remaining. Harry Almirod. Max Coates now looking to do another attempt, and he has gone even quicker. He's done a 1 minute 53.855, and he's now going through Riches. So let's keep on board with the number 71 from Yorkshire, running with Elite Motorsport, as he'll now go into... he has slowed up. This is actually... so in many respects, that's... If he's slowed up on that particular section, I think he's just decided to keep it planted and go, well, I'm going to stick with second. I could have done with the pole position, but, on a second hot lap to be just, 0.3 second, just over 3.5 tenths of a second as the checkered flag concludes the session. So it looks like that Luke Whitehead from LWR Racing with the number 21 Hyundai takes pole, as Max Coates will line up alongside on row 1. Then it will be Jordan Brennan on making his VRRC Touring Car eSeries debut in the 43 Volkswagen. We'll have Max Bird in the number 12 alongside. Then it will be Andy Mellors and Rob Butler, Chris Smiley and Dave Marshall, Andy Carroll and Cobby Leakins. But people are still out there trying to do their absolute best at the moment. And we'll see if anyone does improve in the coming few moments. But it looks like Martin...
No, they've all bailed out.
Yeah, they've all jumped into the pit. So Luke Whitehead is your pole sitter for the first race of the second half of the 2020 Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie, as we see both Rich Hayden, Paul Laramie and now John Cole I think might be going into the pits. Let's just see if the Honda goes straight on. He does. It's currently P12 at the moment, and I'm wondering if he does improve. That does not look to be the case. 1 minute 56.0, so he was a second off of his best lap time. So that concludes the session. But incredibly close, I must say, Martin, between the top 18, from Luke Whitehead all the way down to Senna Proctor, covered by just 1.947 seconds after that 20-minute session.
Yeah, it's so that's been the strangest session we've had so far. Because you've got somebody without success ballast, but if you look behind that, it is pretty tight. But some of the recognised names, the ones running with ballast, they've put in a very good, very good performance there. I think the actual race with when they have to work out the tyres and what the tyre deg's going to be, we could see certainly anybody in the top 8. Getting some good points here.
Very, very true. And as I said earlier on, ladies and gentlemen, that the ballast will not change throughout the whole of the race evening. So once they have that ballast allocated to them in the championship standings, then that is the ballast that they will run with for the next round. And so Senna Proctor has got quite a substantial mountain to climb, with 150 kilos of ballast, but Luke Whitehead takes pole position here at Snetterton 300 with a 1 minute 53.497. Then it was Max Coates with a 1 minute 53.855. Jordan Brennan in the Volkswagen Golf a 1 minute 54.246. Max Bird a 1 minute 54.334. Then you've got Andy Mellors, Rob Butler, Chris Smiley, Dave Marshall. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see how we get things underway here at Snetterton in just a moment or two's time. But Martin, your thoughts coming into the first of 2 action-packed races here at Snetterton 300. We saw what could happen. We've seen what's been happening ever since you joined us from Zolder onwards. But I think that now the intensity is going to increase to that new level that we'll see more drivers being a bit more, not just so much strategically based, but also a bit more gung-ho, a bit more caution to the wind, if you will. So in many respects, we are looking to be underway here very, very shortly. So Whitehead and Coates on the front row here at Snetterton 300 for race 11, round 6 of the 2020 VRRC Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. We are going to be... So we are literally just moments away for getting things going here. And Martin, this is where the intensity...
Yeah, apologies, having connection problems here.
No, that's not a problem
at all.
I've got
feed.
But the intensity is going to really increase now we get into the second half of the season, but also the strategy goes a little bit more caution to the wind, if you will, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. They're going to get brave now. This race is about, it's not about the person who wins it, it's actually what the championship does. Then that championship is actually in the middle of the pack here. So
we are literally few seconds away, so Whitehead will start on pole position. Coates alongside Butler, Brennan, Bird, Mellors, Carroll, Smiley, Marshall and Cole. That is your top 10 here at the first of 2 races here at Snetterton 300 before we head to Malaysia in just a week's time. And the anticipation rises. The drivers are set and ready to go racing here at Snetterton. And when they start roaring away, we will be treated to an absolute action fest as we have over the past 10 races. So will we see a driver take 3 race victories this season? It's going to be a tall order, but my money, if I'm completely honest, will be on Max Coates. But Luke Whitehead has also been in the thick of the action. He's also taken... Okay, so we've got about 5 minutes to go. But... Martin, just really wanted to catch up with all things MSL because it's a busy time ahead this coming weekend, isn't it, for you guys?
Yeah, we've got we're always busy at the moment, which is fantastic. But yeah, we've had an awful lot of feedback from what we're doing in the VRRC domain. A lot of driver approaches, which we are dealing with and helping with guidance in the nicest possible way. And then we've got Alex is out again on the 15th, 16th at Donington. And that's good. We're doing quite a bit with other makes, other forms, should I say, of motorsport, Formula 1, Formula E. So looking forward to this weekend. Silverstone race on. Shame we can't all be there, but that's just the way it is, the nature of the beast that we're in and the times we're in. But 2 races on TV should be brilliant. Silverstone, by the way, if you're thinking of trying to blag it or get in there, it is locked down tighter than my mate's wallet.
We were having a discussion about that before we went on air, didn't we?
Yeah, you will not get in, and I'm just disappointed with certain things that have been planned by people that are using our wonderful motorsport for other reasons. But the security, don't bother going. Don't try it. Don't embarrass us, basically.
Very, very well put. So there is a lot of police activity around the home of British motorsport. Reference the first of 2 races at Silverstone, starting off this weekend with the British Grand Prix. But before we get things underway, we'll just have a couple of videos before we get race 1 here at Snetterton 300 underway here for the VRRC Touring Car eSeries. So we have 24 drivers lined up on the grid, and we are seconds away for getting our first race here at Snetterton 300 for the VRRC Touring Car eSeries underway. Round 6, so it's race 1. That's race 11 out of the 20 that will be taking place this season. And we have Luke Whitehead and Max Coates alongside each other on the front row of the grid, followed by Butler and Brennan. So the red light's getting on the starting gantry, and we are on starters' orders. And when they go out, we are racing. Great start there by Luke Whitehead to get the jump on Max Coates, but Coates is trying to look towards the inside for riches as the whole field, as it's nearly 3 abreast. A little bit further down the order, looks like Gobby Leakin's trying to go up the inside, making it 3 abreast as again.
Brennan, there we go.
And
carnage in the background.
As soon as we hadn't even gotten to riches yet, and there are cars flying off left, right, and centre, as looks like you know quite a few drivers trying to make their way up the order, and at the moment it looks like we've got quite a few drivers doing their very best. So at the minute we have Luke Whitehead, Max Coates, looks like Max Bird, and then Jordan Brennan. And Brennan is being hustled by Rob Butler, who's got the inside run, and that's a great job by the 74 if he gets through for 4th position. He's made the move stick. Brennan hung out a bit wide and a bit hard out to dry as Andy Mellors, and now Dave Marshall getting behind. So it seems like there's a bit of a Honda meritocracy at the front of the field, whereas Senna Proctor and Alex Toth-Jones, MSL Motorsport Consultancy teammates, need to stop. Oh, Proctor's now, I think there was the slightest amount of rubbing between the two cars, and Proctor has come off worse as a result of that, as Kenny Press is trying to go around the outside of Isaac Smith. And we are less than a minute and a half in, and one of the biggest casualties is one of the youngest, brightest names in the British touring cars, and that is Senna Proctor, as Isaac Smith is having a ding-dong battle with Jack McIntyre. But already, Martin, again, we see this time and time again that when you get some cars, oh no, Kenny Press has just gone into the back of Jack McIntyre and tried nearly spinning him around, and Press has gone off through Nelson's as a direct result. But already, Martin, you can see that the top two starting to break away, and that's Whitehead and Coates.
Yeah, it always happens. Once they start squabbling, if you've got clean air at the front, which is why qualifying is so important, off you go. And they're playing dodgem cars out there. This is all over the place, but survival of the fittest, I guess. Rich Hayden is going to have such a busy week sorting this all out.
Yes, I think I might have to agree with you there. Rich Hayden currently ahead of Senna Proctor. Oh, now that was a bit of a lock-up there from Rob Butler, but Andy Mellors manages to get side-by-side with Jordan Brennan coming through. I think that might have been Agostini's there, and he did a good job of trying to get through, but couldn't make it stick. And a little bit further behind, we've got Alex Toth-Jones, Harry Omerod and Isaac Smith battling over what is 11th position, but a nice move from the 11 Hyundai to get past the 77 for position. And that's about 3.2 seconds up the road as Omerod trying to go around the outside of Toth-Jones. You are a brave individual if you are going to do that, my goodness. And he's got no alternative, and both he and Toth-Jones go grass tracking. Isaac Smith trying to capitalise on the pair of them. And again, Toth-Jones just manages to keep it out in front. That was brilliant work as they go through into the right at Oggies. Oh my goodness me, again, the VRRC Touring Car E-Series continues not to disappoint.
Oh, it's great entertainment, good lads. But again, there you see, Alex had a great start, got involved in a bit of a scrap and some messy stuff, and he's now 3.7 seconds behind 10th. It's going to take some drawing back, but he's being chased. Ormerod doesn't give up. He's just all over it. He's, and there you go. It's because Alex is looking in his rearview mirror, watching where Omerod's gone, and Smith is right in there. This isn't going to end well, I can tell you.
Yeah, I completely agree, because both Toth-Jones and Smith both have ballast, and you can see how hard Omerod is trying as they go through what was effectively Murray's there, and Omerod is really absolutely red hot on the brakes, and we have got 2 cars, I think, in the pits there, as you've seen improvements there from Toth-Jones, Omerod, Smith, McIntyre, Ruskin and Proctor, Hayden, Carroll and Leakins. They've all improved personal best lap times, so in many respects they have done a lot better job than we might have actually said. So we are now on board.
another great performance from Max Bird. Good lad. It's he's just stealth, isn't he?
Yeah, I think the two Maxes who we had the ding-dong battle last time out in Brands Hatch, as we're on board the rear windscreen cam of Chris Smiley, who's got John Cole and Josh Stanton closing in. These three are covered by around about 1.6 seconds, but Smiley looks to be a bit more planted in the Hyundai as opposed to John Cole, but Cole a bit more measured on the brakes, able to use Smiley a bit more of a yardstick as Dave Marshall is just up ahead. Then it's Andy Mellors in 6th place, Jordan Brennan in 5th, and then it is Rob Butler and Max Bird, and you can just see that Bird is now stretching away, I think, from Rob Butler, so he's trying to close the gap as Brennan has gone up the
Brennan's
inside.
got him.
Yeah, Brennan's got him, and also Stanton trying to go up the inside of Cole and gets through and does the last of the late breakers, as that's a little bit of run wide there from Dave Marshall as they go through the bomb hole and then into Coram. 14 minutes and 22 seconds plus an additional lap, and now Rob Butler can sense a bit of Volkswagen blood in the ointment, so to speak, as he goes sideways. Now I'm not sure if there's a little bit of contact between him and Andy Mellors, as that is Isaac Smith that has gone off, and that is off of the bomb hole, I believe. So Isaac Smith tumbles down the order.
That was going to happen. Omerod's dropped back as well, so they've had a coming together. Now that should release Alex Toff Jones to go for it now. He's got them off his rear view mirror. Should give him a bit of peace.
Yeah, that's a good move up the inside.
Here we go.
So Dave Marshall gets up the inside nice and easily past Andy Mellors, and then Chris Smiley just goes, well, if Rob can do it, I'll go through too. And there wasn't enough room, I think, and so the right front corner of the Hyundai ended up in the side of the Honda, which meant that left front corner, my apologies there. So I think in many respects, the good thing is that I'm looking at where Andy Mellors is, and Andy Mellors has no ballast. He's 11th in the standings, but Chris Smiley has 60 kilos. So there's a little bit of it's like a tiebreaker situation in tennis where it's like the first to two clear points in some respects here, using some sort of different sporting analogy rather than motorsport. But that means that Mellors can have the run on Smiley, and Smiley might be powerless to not be able to do something about it if because of the weight, more degradation on the tyres. The tyres will get a bit more scrubbed as a result of that additional ballast, and you can see it in the straight line speed as they go through into Brundles.
Yeah, they're smoking the tyres there, which is that's not going to help. But you can see that these races, as we've been watching them, it is a game of two halves, so to speak. Pardon the footballing analogy, but it is as the cars get lighter, that they get the fuel lightening, you get the tyre degradation. It does turn into a different race.
Very true, and I think possibly that the way that Josh Stanton has been reeling in Andy Mellors, that Hyundai 99 has been incredibly quick as they're going to go across the line for another lap. We're now on to lap number 6 here.
Oh, that's a stonking lap from Stanton. 2 seconds a lap.
He's just absolutely reeling them in. And I think both Smiley and, Mellors first, and then Smiley will both have to watch it as they go through Montreal. And then all the way down to the left at Palmer. We now go on board with Josh Stanton, the number 99. I think that paint job, if it was glow in the dark, we could probably see that car from the skies above. But you can see that clear as day here out on the circuit as Rich Hayden trying to go toe-to-toe with Andy Carroll. This is the battle for P15. They've got Bobby Leakins just behind in the sole Alfa Romeo Giulietta. Looks like James West, aka Gamer Muscle, not able to attend this evening. So hopefully we'll see him back next time at Sepang. And you can just see the amount of dented pixels on the right-hand side of Rich Hayden's car. That's looking very much second-hand there, Martin.
I don't think you bothered changing it from last time out.
Yeah, as they now head through into Oggies. We're fast approaching half-time in race 1 here at Snetterton. The 300 layout, 2.969 miles, 4.779 kilometres, and 12 fantastic turns. As you can now see, they're going down the Bentley Straight, heading into Brundle. And you can just see that the Audi doesn't have quite the legs that we saw back in Monza a few weeks ago, when we saw Rich actually take his first and only win, and he took a podium in race 2 on round 3, Martin. But again, some of the drivers are just really, really throwing caution to the wind, and I think we've seen where some have come a bit unstuck. Obviously, Harry Omerod was one of them, and he's now down in 18th place, where he was battling for what was potentially a top 10 finish.
Yeah, he was right in it, but I could see that one brewing. There was, again, red mist on a clear day. Just gone very static at the top, but we've seen this before. Max Coates, is he sandbagging a bit? He's just keeping that gap under 3 seconds. It's from P4 down. It's all very tight, and they are holding each other up.
Yeah, Max Coates has been consistently running in the 1 minute 54.1s, but Luke Whitehead is he's cantering away, because his best lap was 1:53.453. His last lap was only less than 0.3 of a second slower, 1 minute 53.739. As now Chris Smiley is closing on the back bumper of Dave Marshall for P6. The pair are about a quarter of a second apart. As Andy Mellors goes straight off. That was a big off, not what he wanted, and that was heading into Oggies. Of all the places, he straight lined it.
I don't want to be doing that.
Okay, so big thank you to Mike Yow, who said that our broadcast director from Simply Race, he said that Andy Mellors actually had a massive lag spike as Smiley and Marshall going toe to toe, nearly side by side.
That's not going to end well.
Yeah, into Brundle, and then into Nelson, then through the bomb hole they go. Mellors and Stanton still not too far behind, but Stanton, I think, is the individual that's got the ringside seat here, as we've got 8 minutes and 30 plus an additional lap. We're on lap number 7 here.
Right, watch that gaggle into Ritchie's at the end of the Senna straight. This I almost put 50 pence on it. It's going to be messy.
Yeah, but also look how close that Alex Toth-Jones is getting. You did say this right completely, Martin, that we've seen it before where drivers have been languishing a little bit far behind, but then they start getting closer and closer and closer. And now the gap between John Cole and Alex Toth-Jones is about 3.3 seconds. You can just see how hard Dave Marshall is trying. Chris Smiley trying to go through on Montreal. They go through into the left at Palmer, and now it is the Dave Marshall train from 6th to 10th position. Chris Smiley in 7th, Andy Mellors in 8th, Josh Stanton and John Cole round out the top 10. But then you look at the gaps at the front. Luke Whitehead is leading Max Coates by over 2.5 seconds. As Smiley looking a bit racy there, going through Agostini, as they'll now head into the left-hander at Hamilton before the right at Oggies. Let's hope that Andy Mellors doesn't have the same issue as what we saw literally a lap ago. As now we've had a DNF, and it looks like Derek has just DNF'd, unfortunately, as we now have that Whitehead is 2.5 seconds ahead of Max Coates, and Max Coates last time around was over a 10th quicker.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, as Senna Proctor now really coming under pressure from Andy Carroll for P14. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, that Senna Proctor has the maximum amount of success ballast, as Marshall, Smiley and Mellors all locking up going into Brundle underneath the bridge. These guys are absolutely pushing like crazy, but they are not stopping, and this is what is part and parcel of the Touring Car eSeries from the Virtual Reality Racing Club. It's just dynamite action, and we always find this, don't we, Martin? It's a bit like, it gets a bit processional, but then the gaps just really close up, and then everyone is just sort of elbows out. I don't really care. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to see what happens, and hopefully I do right by me, not by anybody else.
Oh, that's the mentality I want from a racing driver, to be honest with you. But let's get on with it. Let's keep it clean. But yeah, they're going to get the elbows out. I think 6 minutes to go. Next couple of laps is going to be incredibly entertaining with that trail that we're watching. Very, very true there, and in many respects it could be a case of just waiting to see until someone's red mist quite literally overflows with significant vim and vigour. Oh, here we go.
And
there's no way through there, but yeah. What do I know? That's a great place if you're ever there and the caterers are on to go and watch them there.
yeah, I ended up, I actually went to a round of the British Touring Car Championship, I think back in 2017 or 2018, I can't remember which weekend it was. But yeah, to be there at Snetterton and to just see the amount of commitment you need to have through the bomb hole, it's quite impressive. But this battle is still being led by Dave Marshall, and the good thing from this perspective is that he is ahead of both McIntyre and Proctor. So the lead of the championship standings will look to, I think.
Oh, that's messy.
And that was that was Andy Mellors that went off the circuit there. Yeah, so it looks like a side-by-side incident there.
Yeah.
Mellors was the one that ran out wide, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's as you were saying that they do try and make the move into Brundle, and it comes unstuck in Nelson, and then bomb hole. Got to be careful how you say that. It sort of sorts itself out into Coram.
Yes, I definitely agree with you about the corner query there, Martin. I've heard a call worse than that. That particular corner, but as you can now see, we have Josh Stanton pressurising Chris Smiley. Now this could be a very he just his way through. I think that was a bit too robust for my liking, if I'm honest. I mean, if because Chris was already closing the door before Josh decided to throw it up the inside.
Chris Smiley's not going to like that. Oh, there you go. Put some manners on him.
Yeah. That is the thou shalt not pass manoeuvre.
He's going again.
He's trying. I mean, he's very, very trying in this aspect. Is Josh Stanton, as Andy Carroll now trying to go up the inside of Mikko Raskinen for P13. So a bit more of a composed drive, and I think that is through Agostini. And now Carroll will have the inside run going to the left at Hamilton. It's nearly side by side between the pair, but Raskinen powers around the outside as they go into the right at Oggies, and just behind them is Senna Proctor. So Proctor has been actually just biding his time and just looking at the battles up ahead, just sizing up the situation as any good racing driver worth their salt will do, as we've got 3 minutes to go plus an additional lap here in race one.
Yeah, his Proctor's race was compromised early on, but this, we're seeing a lot of smoke coming up here. A lot of that wasn't very polite, but there you go.
Well, he did have the room to go up the inside, did Andy Carroll, and then all of a sudden Mikko Raskinen had no other alternative but to go grass tracking through Brundle and then across towards Nelson.
Yeah, I think he's come out of the bomb hole.
Yes, he's definitely he's actually ended up behind Senna Proctor, so Proctor makes a positional gain as again Josh Stanton trying to force the issue with Chris Smiley going towards the outside of Riches. You cannot be serious if you're going to try that move, but he's trying to do the switch back through down the centre straight heading towards Montreal, but Chris Smiley just knew exactly where to place the car at the right moment in time. But meanwhile, Max Coates, you know what you said about that sandbagging, Martin?
Yes.
He's just done a sub 154. He's done a 153.993, and that is close to being nearly 4/10 quicker than Luke Whitehead on that last lap. And the gap is dropping like a stone at the minute, as we've got 1 minute and 45 still to go, plus an additional lap. Stanton still trying to get past Smiley for P7 as they go through Agostini and then make their way up to Hamilton. But Dave Marshall has had a pretty clean race in his own respect up to P6. So this will, I think, from my sort of estimated guess, I'm not going to call it educated because I might be wrong completely, but Dave Marshall will retake back the lead in the standings after this race ahead of McIntyre and Proctor.
I liked your phrase "guess" actually better.
I mean, the thing is, I don't like using the word hunch or gut feeling.
Or educated. So that's great.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is that you could, by saying educated, you might have a Freudian slip. As we go into the last 60 seconds, and Mellors.
Oh, he's going for
He's closing on Alex Toth Jones, but Toth Jones is 9th. So a good job there from.
Yeah, he's worked his way back into this, Alex. Well done. Look at that! Look at the gaps at the top there, Alex. We've not seen gaps like this. I don't think in the top 6 at any of the rounds so far.
No, it's all been pretty even, Steve. And then you look at the gap between Max Coates and Max Bird. The gap's now nearly 9 seconds. As again, Stanton towards the outside of Smiley through Riches. He's not go. Oh, Chris Smiley knew how to put him on.
Brilliant positioning. Brilliant positioning.
That's why Chris Smiley is a British Touring Car Championship race winner in his own respect. And I'm looking forward to see how him and Senna get on with Accelerate this year in 2020. I think it's Donington Park this coming weekend is the opening 3 rounds.
It certainly is, and all the best to Accelerate, and Anthony works and his team work very hard and do a really good job with the Highlander.
So we are on the what will be very shortly the final lap, because the timer has now expired as Max Coates is starting to reel in again. Luke Whitehead, and the gap now under 1.6 seconds. As Coates did a 1 minute 54.104, as Stanton still trying to hustle along Smiley for P7, but Smiley still keeping his Hyundai i30 nice and straight and true as they go down the Bentley straight. Very shortly, I think we will have the final lap.
Oh, this is going to be do or die. I don't think he's going to.
He's going for it. He's gone for it, and he's got it. And that was cleanly done through Brundle, and he made the move stick by Nelson. So
very smooth.
Yeah, I think he was.
Great move.
I think he, just like for the last 3 or 4 laps, he was sizing up Chris Smiley. But Smiley now, as we've got the final lap board being shown to Luke Whitehead and Max Coates, and then soon it will be Max Bird's turn to get that, as there's a bit of a lock-up from Dave Marshall through into the left at Murray's. So there's a couple of battles here that we're going to have to keep our eye on. Stanton and Smiley for P7, Toth Jones and Mellors, and then also look at behind McIntyre and Carroll as now Smiley trying to do.
Smiley's not finished with this.
No, he's far from being done. He's doing a Stanton. He's trying to go around towards the outside and try and cut back in.
Cut back.
As little bit of a touch there, but it sent the back end of Stanton's car sideways. He managed to keep the throttle pinned, keeps it clean through Montreal, does the 99. That was a bigger shove there from Chris Smiley going through the exits into Palmer's. Oh, that was close if ever I thought it, but as they say in Days of Thunder, rubbing's racing. And I think that's down to the clerk of the course as to what happens in terms of any protest. But if you look at what's happening now, Mellors still trying to get past Toth Jones, and the number 11 Hyundai still recalcitrant in not letting that position go in any way, shape or form. As we're getting towards the business end, as Luke Whitehead comes through Brundle and through into Nelson's for the final time. And then it is 3 more corners to go. And Max Coates just a little bit further in the distance through the bomb hole, through to Coram comes the number 21 of Luke Whitehead in the LWR Racing Hyundai i30. Now into Murray's for the final time. And it is going to be a 9th different winner this season, as it is the 21 of Luke Whitehead that takes the first win here at Snetterton 300, ahead of Max Coates by 1.8 seconds at the line. Max Bird will make it another to the podium as well.
Another podium for Max. Well done.
Yep, so that's his 2nd in 3 races. So well done to Luke Whitehead, Max Coates and Max Bird. And whilst they are on their cool-down lap, I'm now going to drop down into the interview booth and have a chat with them. So, right, well, congratulations, first of all, to our Race 1 winner here at Snetterton, Luke Whitehead. Well done. Great job. If you can hear me. Yes, I think he's on mute at the moment. But for the minute, I'll speak to Max Coates. Now, Max, well done. 2nd place finish. Luke got away in the initial phase, didn't he?
He did. I'm gonna open up my driver's book of excuses and say I've not really tested around here, which I haven't. So until about midday, I didn't really expect to be doing tonight. So I hadn't really bothered driving a lap. And then unfortunately, some issues coaching down at Brands meant that I left a bit early and could manage to get back. So I hopped on with about 10 minutes to go in qualifying and just kind of suck it and see, really.
And then you stuck it on P2 on your very first lap, and then went even quicker, I think, by about another 0.3 of. So it goes to the real world experience in the sim racing world, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think by mid-race distance, I'd kind of clocked onto what really made it tick round here, and then started to be able to close the gap to Luke. I made a couple of mistakes at the end, just trying a few things, and yeah, but I'd rather do that and than kind of waste the time that I've got to learn, and hopefully I can come through with Luke, with Max Bird behind me, and have a decent run in the second race as well.
Max, it's Martin here. Nice one. Absolutely, yeah, very impressed with that. Tidy lines. I still reckon you stopped for a takeaway.
Cheers, Martin. Yeah, I wasn't quite so tidy right at the end when I hit the curb, but I'm learning, so yeah, we'll get there.
Well done, Max. All the very best of luck for race 2 very shortly. We'll have a quick chat with Max Bird. Max, your second podium in 3 races. The front 2 got away from you, but you managed to run your own race and still come home comfortably in P3. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, it was a good race. I struggled on the first few laps, just sort of didn't get the heat into the tyres. I think I had Rob up behind me and Jordan, but after that I sort of managed to get in a rhythm and try and chase Max and Luke down, but obviously without, with the ballast, it made me sort of slightly slower really. But no, yeah, it was a hard race.
Well, all the very best of luck for race 2. I'm sure you're not going to need it. You've come into this championship a couple of rounds ago, but shown your true prowess. Obviously, Brands Hatch, where it was the Max and Max show. Good luck for the next race here at Snetterton.
Thank you. Cheers.
Underway rather rapidly, and Luke Whitehead actually did have the fastest lap, so he has done effectively what both Senna Proctor and Max Coates up until this point did, both at Barcelona and Brands Hatch Grand Prix respectively. So but another new winner here, Martin. Really good to see that, isn't it? Okay, well, let's just going to try and see. I think Luke Whitehead has said that he is available to be interviewed. So let's see if we can grab our race winner. For just a second, I'll just try and pull him into the booth. So congratulations to our 9th different winner this year, Luke Whitehead. Luke, great job, well done. And obviously, you have now repeated what Senna Proctor and Max Coates have done so far in the last 2 rounds. You've taken pole position, fastest lap, and also the race victory in race 1. How are you feeling going into race 2 here at Snetterton? Because it's going to be quite a different proposition altogether. Mm-hmm. Okay, Luke, all the very best of luck as everyone is now lining up on the grid here for race 2. Have a good one. We are just moments away from the second race, our final race here at Snetterton 300 before we head to Southeast Asia, as we have Isaac Smith on the front row. We're just waiting for all cars to be in position, so it is the full reverse grid race here. So it looks like Smith, Hayden, Omrod, Press, Laramie, Leakins, Raskinen, Proctor, Cole, Smiley, McIntyre, Mellors, Carroll, Toth Jones, Stanton, Marshall, Butler, Brennan, Bird, Coates and Whitehead are your lineup as we're about to wait for the red lights to ignite on the starting gantry. All 6 of them will go red, and then very shortly we will be lights out, and we are off and away here at Snetterton. A good start from Isaac Smith as we're just going to wait for the rest of the field. Looks like there was Rich Hayden has had a little bit of an issue trying to get past everybody, but then Press has been trying to battle his way past Omerod through into turn 1 for the first time, as in many respects quite a lot of things happening here. So in many respects we're going to see it all kicking off as there are cars going everywhere off of the exit of Montreal here at Snetterton, and at the minute Isaac Smith is starting a getaway as we've got I'm just seeing Kobe Leakins and John Cole battling away with Jack McIntyre. Senna Proctor looks to be just behind. Oh no, contact between Rich Hayden and Harry Omerod, and that has allowed Senna Proctor up to 3rd, John Cole up to 4th. Harry Omerod went barreling into the side of Rich Hayden there, and that has caused absolute pandemonium. John Cole now getting away. Oh, there's more carnage behind. There's one of the Hondas off. And again, the reverse grid race throwing a cat amongst the proverbial pigeons, as now we have Isaac Smith leading the way. Kenny Press in 2nd position. Alex Toth-Jones. Well, the thing is, I'm just keeping an eye on what's happening on the screen. Is Senna Proctor in 3rd. John Cole in 4th. Harry Omerod in 5th. Jack McIntyre in 6th. Kobe Leakins and Rich Hayden, that's been 7th and 8th respectively as they head into Brundle for the first time, and that is Hayden up the inside of Mellors. Well, Mellors has got past as, Rich Hayden loses it. Oh, it's 3-1, and that does not go. And Luke Whitehead, I think, was just involved in that ever so slightly. But the number 21 manages to... now, this has changed the dynamic of the race quite spectacularly as Dave Marshall trying to rejoin, Rich Hayden trying to rejoin, and that has absolutely gone south very, very quickly. Martin, my goodness, I cannot believe what my eyes have just seen over the last 2 minutes or so of this race. But 17 minutes and 34 seconds to go, as we look like we've got several drivers that have actually pitted as a result of everything. So, no, that's okay, Martin. But that's been absolute carnage. I think Luke Whitehead called it, and he said, "I think it's going to be carnage." He wasn't wrong there in his interview, was he?
Yeah, I was just saying to myself actually, because something had gone wrong, that Rich Hayden actually pulled the handbrake on there and took out half the field. So this is going to be very entertaining as ever. And look at the front. Smith has pulled out a big gap already, not squabbling.
Yep. Yeah, he's kept it clean. Kenny Press looking to hopefully get himself onto the podium for the first time this season. He's a little bit further ahead of Senna Proctor by the tune of nearly 1.6 seconds. John Cole and Harry Omerod and Jack McIntyre and Kobe Leakins. That's a 4-car scrap over P4. Luke Whitehead is about 1.1 seconds behind that battle in 8th place, as Leakins trying to go up the inside of McIntyre through into Brundle. In the number 44 Alpha. Oh, that was 2 abreast, but in many respects, I think good spatial awareness by both drivers, but that's allowed Luke Whitehead to go up the inside of Kobe Leakins through the bomb hole. So that has really helped his chances no end. And at the minute, the fastest lap of the race is by Isaac Smith, who last time was on the podium. I'm just having a look as per my records. Race 2 at Monza, he won. And since then, he hasn't been on the podium since. So this is his chance to redeem himself. Senna Proctor puts in the fastest lap of the race as Harry Omerod and John Cole battling way into riches for P4 as Omerod gets up the inside. Oh, nerfs Cole off. That was not really what somebody wanted. But John Cole, bravo to him.
Right,
but he manages to rejoin safely and does not come across Kobe Leakins, but then decides. Now, I'm wondering if that car has got a bit of suspension damage as a result of running off the circuit there, and he's just gone doing a bit of a Matthias Ekstrom That's not what he wanted at all. And you can see the amount of dented pixels on the right-hand side of Luke Whitehead's car from an earlier altercation. But if you look where Whitehead is now, he is 5th behind Harry Omerod, and he is closing. Fastest lap of the race has gone to Max Coates in 10th position. We'll make that 9th position as he's just got past Mellors. As you can now see, well, Mellors and Coates are swapping positions quicker than they can change Coates. As John Cole currently sitting in 11th position. But Luke Whitehead here, Martin, really has some pace in that Hyundai.
He does. He's really enjoying himself. And the reason we mention Omerod so much is the fact that he actually is in the middle of all of the excitement. He's not shy with his elbows.
No, I don't think anyone's shy with their elbows when they need to use them in close proximity as they go through into Brundles. Nice sweep,
great move
up the inside by Luke Whitehead into the right, into the left at Brundles, through the right at Nelson, through the next right. So it's a triple right. So Nelson, Bomhole, and Coram, and you can just see how much momentum these drivers are carrying through the corners before having to slam on the anchors before the left at Murray's. As now Kenny Press is having to battle away with Senna Proctor for P2 and P3 respectively. As they cross the line, we're going to now start lap number 4 here. Smith has already crossed the line, so has Press and Proctor. And Proctor really closing in on the Peugeot, the sole Peugeot out of the entire field. As now they go through Riches. Nice and cleanly done. So Proctor using the slipstream opportunity that Press is giving to him. So Press is punching that dirty air. Excuse me, as they'll go into the left at Palmer's, but Senna Proctor looks really, really fired up this time around, Martin, as he sends it up the inside of Kenny Press, but Press very wise to that, but he runs a bit wide.
He's on
going
it.
Yeah. So again, we see that Senna Proctor is going to try and go up the inside of Kenny Press through into Agostini's, but again, Press just knows where to put the car and he runs wide, so it doesn't allow Senna Proctor the affordability to go as wide as he dare out of the corner. So Kenny Press is doing pretty much what we saw from a few drivers, including Chris Smiley last time out in race 1.
Yeah, he's just got to hold on to it, get into... Oh, there's a contact there. This corner's important. Oh, it's up the inside, I think, Senna.
Yeah, so in many respects, Senna now up into 2nd as Kenny Press has lost an absolute mountain of positions because now Senna Proctor has Luke Whitehead behind him. And this is where it's really going to get hot and heated under the collar. And they go through the right at Nelson as there's a bit of a lock-up. I think Kobe Leakins looking to have his, what could possibly be his best finish of the season so far.
Stanton's all over him.
Oh, great move by Whitehead, and that was through into Coram there. He got the run out of the bomb hole perfect, and then sent it up the inside of Senna Proctor. Now, let's not forget that considering how competitive Senna Proctor is, even with, as this is going to be 3 abreast between McIntyre, Leakins and Omerod. Now Leakins might have got ahead of McIntyre. He has, and that's on the run down to Riches as Luke Whitehead again puts in the fastest lap of the race. But then Max Coates quickly jumps as, mistake from McIntyre. And here's Josh
understeer there.
Yeah, a lot of understeer through Riches as that was near, I think Stanton nearly trying to thread the eye of the needle through into Montreal as Omerod up the inside of McIntyre. And then you've got also Max Coates is now joining this melee. And then before you know, Andy Mellors and Andy Carroll will be there very, very shortly, as will Max Bird and Jordan Brennan. Mikko Raskinen a further 2.8 seconds behind the number 43 Volkswagen Golf. But there we go, Kobe Leakins up into P4, and he is about 2.9 seconds behind Senna Proctor as they go through Agostini's. Curb hopping there by Omerod, and Stanton managing to get past Coates there. I think there might have been a little bit of rubbing between the right-hand side of the Hyundai and the left-hand side of the Honda as Coates. He tags the back through into Rockies. So Max Coates giving Josh Stanton a taste of his own medicine there. And he's going to try and go up the inside through into Williams.
He's planting it, and he's making Coates. Making Max Coates' job very hard here.
Well, I think
great to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely action-packed and well worth watching it as we are fast approaching half-time here in the reverse grid race 2 race here, race 12 of the season, round 6 of the VRRC Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. And at the minute, it is everyone out for themselves. As here is Jordan Brennan replacing Konstantin Kletzer in the 43 Volkswagen Golf. Is just behind Andy Carroll, and then Max Bird rounds out the top 10. As now Brennan looking really, really racy. He's going towards the outside of Carroll in the Cupra Leon TCE as they head down towards Riches, and the Golf is alongside the Leon side by side heading into Riches, and if he puts it round the outside there, he's a brave man, and Carroll just backs out of it knowing he had more pace than me. I think I'm going to have discretion as the better part of valor, but in the meantime Stanton gets passed by Coates and then has the Teenage Cancer Trust liveried car of Andy Mellors in the 92, a great cause that Andy's representing there on his Honda Civic, as Max Bird now closes up. Harry Omerod trying to go up the inside of Jack McIntyre for P5. Does he make the move through into Agostini? He's got the inside run. He's going to run McIntyre a little bit wide, or McIntyre's actually trying to get his power around the outside of him before they've even gone into Hamilton.
No, he's not going to give it up, though.
No, but Max Coates is all over this like a fly in the ointment. And Josh Stanton trying to go up the inside. He gets up the inside of Coates, past Omerod. He's going to try and power past McIntyre. Is he going to do that? He is. That's a brilliant... That's like three drivers he's just overtaken in two corners as they go through Williams. So that was through Oggies and through into Williams. Josh Stanton, I doff my cap to thee. That was brilliantly done. Just whilst everyone was scrabbling all over each other, as Max Coates now takes up 6th position ahead of Jack McIntyre, Andy Mellors, Harry Omerod, Jordan Brennan, Max Bird now past Andy Carroll, and here comes Max Coates trying to go up the inside once again on Stanton, side by side as they go through the bomb hole into Coram, and now McIntyre's trying to go up the inside of Stanton through into 6th position, but can't get through into the approach into Murray's. Wow, this is absolutely brilliant, heart-wrenching stuff here. And now Max Coates has P5 ahead of Stanton, McIntyre, Mellors, Omerod, Brennan, Bird and Carroll. That is an absolute brilliant slobber knocker of a battle as they are now coming up into Riches, and just the amount of commitment these drivers are showing through. Got less than 8 minutes to go as now Kobe Leakins has dropped significantly. I think he might have lost it going through into the corner, and that's a real shame for Kobe Leakins. He was on form as there's a bit of tussling there, and that was between Brennan and I think Max Bird there.
I'm just trying to work out what's happened to Chris Smiley.
I was just about to say, yeah, DNF. He's just DNF'd, unfortunately. That's a real shame for Chris, because he had a third and a second last time out at Brands Hatch, even though he struggled, as we've got more argy-bargy. Harry Omerod's gone a bit wide, and that's allowed Brennan to go up the inside into P8 through into Hamilton, or is it? No, Omerod powers around the outside.
He's going grass cutting.
And so is Andy Carroll, but it looks like Max Bird was also going a bit grass happy there too. But Andy Carroll just really doing a smart race here. And then there is Mikko Raskinen in the number 26 Volkswagen as they go down through Williams, down the Bentley Straight. This is just cat and mouse, touring car racing, door to door, mano a mano at its finest.
I've seen this in stock car racing actually.
Yes. Oh no, that was Max Bird. Max Bird has had a moment going through Nelson. So I think the back end stepped out when he went into Brundle, and that has allowed Andy Carroll to get into the top 10. Here's Mellors on Jack McIntyre. This is the battle for P6 as now Max Coates is pulling away from Josh Stanton in the battle for 5th position. But Luke Whitehead now puts in the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 54.041. And if I'm completely honest, the two leaders, it's side by side, Whitehead up the inside. He's got the move done. He's got the move done there.
Great move.
Well done. Luke Whitehead started stone dead last, took the win last time out in race 1. And I'm not saying anything at the moment, but that was a spirited drive. He got involved in one of the concertina incidents a bit earlier on when we went green. When we went lights out over nearly 15 minutes ago, and he's already pulled a gap ahead of Isaac Smith. The gap now is over 0.8 of a second. Meanwhile, we go a little bit further down the order to Andy Mellors in the number 92, currently rounding out the top 6 ahead of Jack McIntyre. Harry Omrod, then we've got Jordan Brennan and Andy Carroll rounding out the top 10. Then you got Max Bird. Mikko Raskinen is closing up, and he's about a second away from Max Bird. And then the recovering Kenny Press, who was P2 a bit earlier on before he went off circuit very early on in the race. But already, look at the gap that Whitehead's got over Smith, Martin. It's over 1.2 seconds, and we've got 5 minutes on the clock remaining.
He's played it brilliantly. Great drive. He's thought about it, stayed with him. There's a good gap back to Senna Proctor, who is on it today. Really sorry for Chris Smiley there. He must have had a technical issue that's taken him out altogether. Oh, Stanton's gone off.
So Stanton having dramas of his own, and he's down into P12. Oh, in head of McIntyre, that was Andy Mellors. Andy Mellors just walloped the. He's ended up 180 degrees the wrong way, and that was through Nelson's.
That must have been some lag or something.
Yeah, well, he had a lag spike when he went off at Oggie's earlier on in race 1, but now that was, I don't think that was a lag spike. I think maybe, well, I'll wait to hear the confirmation, but as now Brennan on the back bumper of Harry Omrod, whereas Luke Whitehead has now got a 2.1 second advantage. We'll make that 1.9 seconds ahead of Isaac Smith. But this is the battle that's really heating up now. Jordan Brennan, a newcomer this evening, replacing Konstantin Kletzer in the 43 Volkswagen. He's got ahead of Harry Omrod, 4P6, and just up ahead is Jack McIntyre. Now, I'm going to make my assumptive guess once again here. Now, we're going to have a look at where the drivers are in the standings. Now, Senna Proctor is P3, Jack McIntyre is P5, and look at where Dave Marshall is. He's down in what is 14th position. So it looks like the Senna Proctor could, I think, assumptively retake the lead. But then I look at where Luke Whitehead is at the moment, and Luke Whitehead last time out didn't score any points. So if he does a clean sweep, and that is very much possible because that will be the third respective clean sweep in a row in the last 3 rounds, that will really change things, and he'll end up in the top 10. So again, Martin, this success ballast is proving to be the real spanner in the works for a lot of drivers, and none of them that have had this hefty amount of balance have had it easy.
Yeah, but it's all about managing it, and the championship race is not at the front of this; it's right in the middle there, and that's what makes it really interesting for everybody here. Is you've got a race going on at the front for the win, but you've also got the race going on for the championship, which is intriguing at the moment because they keep tripping each other up.
Yeah, you never know which way. Which way anyone's going to go, every which way but loose at the end of the day. But it's throwing a bit of a Clint Eastwood movie analogy there, and that was one that I grew up on back in the day. So that was a good old series back in those days when movies were really good movies. But at the end of the day, we now see that Senna Proctor is now having to battle with a ballast-less Max Coates, and this is for P3. So Max Coates, with his real-life racing experience coming into play here, having hardly turned a wheel, as he so well and truly admitted a bit earlier on in the post-race 1 interview, he's on the verge of getting what will be his 4th successive podium in as many races. And I think here's where the move happens. There we go. Max Coates slots in front.
Yeah, great move.
Great move there through into Agostini, and now he'll start pulling away.
Yeah, that was make my day, punk.
Who are you, Dirty Harry?
It's been said.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, but in many respects, you can now see that Luke Whitehead, he's literally he's like the cat that's got the cream. He's 5.3 seconds up the road from Isaac Smith, who started leading this race from pole position, but has managed to keep it in second place. A good run here by Jordan Brennan, who's closing again on Jack McIntyre. So Brennan's got 60 kilos and McIntyre's got an additional 80 on his car. So in many respects, I think Brennan, not on this lap, maybe on the lap after.
Oh, there's Omrod again?
Omrod's in the thick of things with Max Bird now ahead of Andy Cowell, Mikko Raskinen now ahead of Josh Stanton, and Stanton is about 9.5 tenths of a second adrift. John Cole all the way down the order. Rob Butler, a big surprise there. He's way down in what is 19th position. Alex Stoth-Jones again having a struggle in race 2. Alex is down in 16th position in the number 11, but we have 23 seconds on the clock remaining. So when the timer expires, the next time around will be the final lap. Once again, as Brennan up the inside of McIntyre through into Riches, the Golf makes it nice and cleanly up the inside and goes through.
Sweet move, sweet move. Oh, he's coming back.
Yeah, McIntyre trying to go into what was, which is effectively, it's known as Montreal, but it's also known as Wilson, obviously after the late Justin Wilson. But
bless him.
Yes, a very
lovely man.
Very lovely. Yeah, the gentle giant of IndyCar, Justin, back in the day. Him along with other people in IndyCar that we've lost. Obviously, the late Dan Weldon, the man that's the only man that's ever worn the Borg Warner Trophy with 2 different set of teeth. That is an interesting statistic. Bless him. But but Jordan Brennan really doing a great number there on Jack McIntyre as the timer has now expired here for race 2 here at Snetterton 300, race 12 of the season. So we'll have races 13 and 14 at round 7 in a week's time at Sepang in Malaysia. As again, Max Bird trying to get past Harry Omarov, but it's not working out for the number 12 in the minute, but they're going down the Bentley Straights as very shortly we will see the final lap board being shown to Luke Whitehead after what's been an absolutely brilliant display.
Great defensive driving there. Oh, he's going to go around the outside. There's no room there.
No, but he might get a good run coming out of the bomb hole and Coram. As now, there we go.
That's
through
it.
the bomb hole. He's done.
Well called.
Yeah, he's done that through the bomb hole and into Coram.
Got to be careful with that.
Yeah, as Carroll's going to look up the inside too. Well, that was close. Carroll could have, if Omarov had left the door open, that could have quite quickly happened. As now Luke Whitehead is on the final lap of the race as Mikko Raskinen now is closing on both the back bumpers of both Omarov and Carroll, who are nearly side by side on the run down to Riches for the final time here at Snetterton. What a grace, as we've both seen since Zolder, Martin. That was a little bit of a late lunge there from Andy Carroll. But since Zolder, all the reverse race 2 grids have been absolutely reverse grid race 2s have been absolutely brilliant, haven't they? There's more pixelated panels being dented, good and proper between Carroll and Omarov. But
I just don't think, other than the roof panel on Omarods, I don't think there is a straight panel there.
I think the same could be said for Andy Carroll there too. But these drivers, as they're now making their way through Agostini, as we wait to try and catch up with our leader, it should be Luke Whitehead, who I think will probably very soon be heading down towards Brandon and Nelson for the last time this evening, as Carroll being pressured by Raskinen, and there is Luke Whitehead going through Nelson's and then through into the bomb hole for the final time. 3 more corners to go for the number 21 from LWR Racing in the Hyundai i30N TCE, as that's very noble of Rob Butler to let him through into the braking zone for Murray's for the final time. And for the 3rd round in succession, we have a driver that has taken a pole position, fastest lap in both races, and coupled it all with 2 victories. It's Luke Whitehead who does the Grand Chelem here at Snetterton. Meanwhile, Carroll and Omarov going toe-to-toe, and Raskinen going to the outside of the Cupra. Oh, this could end very well for the Finn. He's got round the outside at Coram. That's a brave move.
That's nice racing.
Absolutely brilliant. And it's a drag race to the finish between these two. Who's going to get 9th place? It's going to be Andy Carroll, who manages to power past Mikko Raskinen at the finish. But Luke Whitehead is your winner and he is one of 3 drivers that has now provisionally secured 118 points. Max Coates, again, another 2nd place finish. And joining us on the podium for the very first time since race 2 at Monza will be Isaac Smith. So another podium for that man in the 123 Hyundai. So I will now jump down and have a chat with our winner. Luke Whitehead, you have just repeated the same feat as Max Coates and Senna Proctor over the last 2 rounds, provisionally speaking. Well done. You did say that You did say it was going to be carnage. You were involved in one of the incidents, I think, going into Rich's or a little bit further around the circuit on the first lap, but you managed to survive. And as they say, to finish first you must finish.
Yeah, I'm absolutely over the moon. As you said, we got involved in a couple of incidents on the first lap, which, when you're starting from the back at this track, it's very hard to avoid them. But yeah, I'm absolutely over the moon. Fastest lap in both races, and to win this race by 10 seconds as well. I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
Luke, it's Martin Jones here, MSL. That's one, mate. Absolutely, what a superb night, and thanks for the entertainment.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Well, Luke, just really one final question. Thoughts about heading over? That's going to be a completely different test altogether. A lot of straight line speed. Do you think the Hyundai is going to be a task?
I think so. I think setup's going to play quite a big part as well. But as I say, you never know till you really start testing there. But given how quick I was here, hopefully I can carry that forward.
Well done, Luke. Have a great rest of the week and rest up well and get yourself prepared for.
Thank you very much. You too.
Okay, next up we will head to Max Coates. Another podium, 4 in a row, mate. 2 wins, 2 seconds. Not bad for just stepping into qualifying with a couple of minutes left to go, eh?
Yeah, not bad at all. Bit of carnage in that one, like Luke said, but I think we got through it okay.
And we've now had 3 respective drivers that have done the clean sweep, where you've taken the pole position in race 1, you've won both races, you've done both fastest laps. That's a pretty good feeling that Luke's having right now. That wave of euphoria. What was it like for you last time out at Brands, having done the same thing?
Yeah, it felt very good at Brands. I will admit, I think I probably had a bit of a cheat card getting the second race to start from pole rather than having to do it from the back of the grid. So I'm not sure what I achieved at Brands is quite on the same level as what Luke or Senna did, but it's certainly somewhere up there. I'm just gutted I didn't manage to nab a fastest lap of Luke. Felt like I was quite close to it. I think it was only 200ths off in that one. So it's a few laps where I was up, but just didn't pull it together myself.
Well done, well done, Max.
Very honest, Max, and well done, Martin here again. You really enjoy this, don't you?
Yeah, it's good fun. A few juicy battles, and hopefully that kind of sets me up well for this weekend in the mini challenge. So yeah, get to race a few of the drivers that I will do this weekend, and I think just continuing to race during lockdown should hopefully mean that when we get out on track for real this weekend, we're still sharp.
Should see you there at the weekend, Max. That's awesome. Okay.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck for this weekend for the opening round of the. Get on, even though I may be overseas and keep abreast of what you're doing all the way through the weekend. But well done this evening, and good luck for this weekend at Donington, buddy.
Thanks, Alex. Cheers.
Right, I don't know if we're going to be able to grab a word with Isaac, but we'll have a quick chat with Rich Hayden, the boss of the VRRC. Rich, another great evening of racing here, this time at Snetterton. What are your thoughts about how everything's gone so far in the car eSeries?
Good evening. Things seem to be going quite well. Tonight's race was a game of 2 halves for me. I thought I was going to have a better second race starting at the front, but it looks like there was a bit of carnage. Not quite sure what happened there, but I'm sure I'll look back on the replay. But other than that, I think everybody's really enjoying it. And as Max just said, it's keeping some of the real-life race drivers sharp during lockdown. Can't wait to Donington this weekend. Really looking forward to it. So, bring it on.
But Richard Martin here, that was great again, and just thank you so much for the series. What a great idea, and looking forward to seeing you at Donington, and let's catch up this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously we've got the Goodwood Hill Climb Hot Lap or Hill Climb Fastest Lap coming up soon, and another E-Series, and after that I think we're going to move into GT4s.
That sounds right up my street there, Mr. Hayden, I must admit. The more racing, the better. But yeah, looking forward to Sepang next week.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's It's not a track I know. Unfortunately, I am really busy at the moment and massively struggling with seat time. I managed to chuck in a few laps this afternoon and it showed massively. But I am going to endeavour to do some more laps for Sepang, because I really fancy that track.
Brilliant. Well,
Great circuit. Love it.
It'd be fun.
Indeed. Well, all the very best of luck, Rich. Thank you for... Right, one last interview to do, and it is a returnee to the podium for the first time. Second race at the third round at Monza, Isaac Smith. Isaac, you got a good run off of the lights, and it all started kicking off behind you, but to still come back with the third place after what's been a difficult middle point of the season, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I had the most out of the car, to be honest. I was gauging the tyres as much as physically possible, but yeah, there isn't much more I could have done. I tried to defend on Max a little bit, but it was almost pointless with me having almost a 10th extra weight on the car, but it is what it is. It is what we have to deal with, and yeah, we'll keep pushing forward.
And obviously Sepang's a very different challenge. Corners, but then a lot of straightaways. The Hyundais seem to be very straight line. What are your thoughts, obviously, ahead of next week?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I've never been to Sepang before, so that's a new thing. But yeah, it'll be interesting, definitely.
Well done, Isaac. Let's hope we see you a bit more weekend.
Yeah, cheers.
So that is it for all our interviews here at the 6th round of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. Martin, your final thoughts after what's been 2 great races here at the Snetterton 300 circuit, which is actually about an hour and 20 minutes from me here in North Essex.
Yes, bring on Sepang. Great again, thanks guys. Thanks to everybody, Michael and everybody else behind the scenes. Rich, great series, great thought. Thank you. Alex, really enjoyed your company again, and catch up next week.
Indeed. So on behalf of myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and MSL Motorsport Consultancy's very own Martin Jones, we bid you farewell from the Norfolk countryside, and we will see you in Southeast Asia at the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia. Before we forget, if you want to get a hold of these touring cars that you're seeing racing out on your screen, head to Tommy's Touring Cars, and you can get them for your PC and use them at any particular point you like. We'd like to see a lot of you get involved. There's been people actually asking how you can get involved. The VRRC Touring Car eSeries is at a capacity grid, but we have got a lot more in the pipeline with the Goodwood Hill Climb Challenge, like the time trials. Will obviously GT4s in the mix, but you never know what might be in the mind, being planned by VRRC's Rich Hayden. It's good night from me. It's good night from Martin. We'll see you in a week's time at Sepang. Thank you very much for watching, and above all, stay safe.